Hi folks, welcome to RJA Impact. Today we're going to be talking about what Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, is doing now in relation to the sex abuse case against him by Virginia Giuffre and what options are available to him as the case proceeds. The Duke, after losing his honorary military titles and royal patronages, is currently effectively working as a private citizen and, according to legal experts, has a full-time job working on his defence against the sexual assault allegations. The allegations stem from the lawsuit filed against him by Virginia Giuffre in August 2021 and alleges that she was 17 when Jeffrey Epstein forced her to have sex with Andrew on 3 separate occasions. We know that Buckingham Palace has said that it emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact or relationship with Virginia Roberts. Roberts was Virginia Giuffre's maiden name. So what's he been doing recently? Well, when he was a full-time working royal, he spent time representing the Queen at international and UK events and also attended events for the royal patronages. These have all now stopped. After his disastrous Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis, he stepped back from his public duties, but he didn't lose his patronages until January 2022. And this meant that he still supported various patronages which included various organisations and charities in a private capacity. On a daily basis he lives in his Royal Windsor Lodge, and apparently his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson lives there too, but in a different wing of the property. Also, he's not just been sitting in the lodge alone and contemplating his court case. His social life appears to have continued. For example, on Friday the 14th of January 2022, he hosted a shooting party for himself, his wife, and about a dozen other family and friends. According to some legal experts, while it is believed that his formal duties will definitely be fewer following his loss of titles and patronages, he will have to move to take on his defence to the litigation with Giuffre as a full-time job. So the court case is definitely going ahead, despite the Duke's attempts to prevent it. Although a blow to Andrew's defence approach, this was not entirely unexpected according to some sources, so he will have been working on and will be working on strategies going forward. Judge Kaplan, making the ruling, said Ms. Giuffre's complaint is neither unintelligible nor vague nor ambiguous. It alleges discrete incidents of sexual abuse in particular circumstances at 3 identifiable locations. It identifies to whom it attributes that sexual abuse. Well, the Duke has options, but none of these look really good. At this point in time, according to a source, he is going to fight the case. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and the Duke will continue to defend himself against these claims, he said. Well, for a start, it's fairly obvious to say that these proceedings are going to be protracted and embarrassing. The case itself could soon move to the discovery stage, for example. This is the point at which both sides swap and demand disclosures of the various documents and reports they need to establish their claims or defences. As part of this process, both parties may be asked to sit for depositions and/or provide written answers to interrogative questions. For the Duke, this has the potential to be very embarrassing, as most of the evidence produced through this process risks becoming part of a public record as the case proceeds to a trial. So this provides the first option point for the Duke. According to the judge, he has until July the 14th, 2022 to make his depositions, which would be under oath. If nothing else happens, then the case would proceed to a trial, likely somewhere between September and December 2022. Let's look at the other options he then has, although if we take the view that he wants to clear his name and ultimately restore his reputations, then these become increasingly unappealing. Firstly, he could appeal the judge's decisions. In other words, those decisions on holding the case in the first place. This is probably unlikely to succeed, as the appellate court in the US would follow the same legal standards that Judge Kaplan has already followed, and according to legal experts, it is extremely unlikely that they will reach different conclusions. His next choice could be just not to engage with the whole process and disregard the judge's timetables. Well, this would in a way avoid the process, but in this case the judge would almost certainly declare a default judgment in favour of Giuffre. This is where the judge effectively says that all the allegations in the claim are found in Giuffre's favour and will award damages accordingly. This is likely to be a very costly solution. He could just try to fight the allegations, go through the process, and ultimately face Giuffre in trial. This is a very risky strategy. The dirty laundry and all of the embarrassing revelations that could be made public would provide very severe risk to any chance of him restoring any reputation. Imagine Giuffre, for example, in court talking about that photo, saying, "I remember it, and then this is what happened next. I said, you said, no I didn't, yes you did." And this sort of exchange, etc., etc., does not make for an appealing scenario in court. He could try to settle out of court. Now, this assumes that Giuffre is amenable to settling and resolving the case in this way. It would definitely prevent disclosure of very embarrassing evidence, and note this might appeal to Giuffre as well, of course. However, this is going to contradict his television interview with Mateless, where he disclaimed any and all allegations of wrongdoing. This is an appalling prospect for the Duke, but might be his only choice. Expert lawyer Howard Kennedy says, "One of the reasons he's not settled up to now is that he knows the general public will consider that he committed the wrongs in which he's been accused, or some of the wrongs." He also said, "We are so past the possibility of Prince Andrew rehabilitating his reputation in the eyes of the public that the only thing he could do now to stop this getting worse is to settle. The problem with this is that it is not in Andrew's remit to achieve alone. It requires Giuffre to agree too. She might want her day in court. She might want her vindication." Her lawyer David Boyes has indicated that a settlement may not be on the cards anyway. He said, "I think it's very important to Virginia Giuffre that this matter be resolved in a way that vindicates her and vindicates the other victims. I don't think she has a firm view as to exactly what a solution should be. But I think what's going to be important is that this resolution vindicates her and vindicates the claim that she has made." Well, how do you think it's going to play out? Nothing looks very exciting for the Duke, does it? Only time is going to tell how it does ultimately play out, and we'll await with a bated breath. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons to show appreciation for this summary if you do, and if you hit the notification button you'll be appraised of updates on this case as they take place. Bye.